And welcome back. This is the guest portion of DC Figures and Collectibles, and we are very honored to have Toy Geek 88 from Instagram. His name is George, and he has just recently started doing this whole toy photography thing. So we thought it'd be very cool and interesting to see what got him into it, and just to see what it's like again to start from the beginning of our journey. Because I remember looking back fondly on those times, and already George is very advanced, and he has some great pictures. So it's going to be fun to pick his brain today. So so first of all, Scott, we could say hi to.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really pleased that you've come on. I know you tag us in your posts, and it's been enjoyable seeing the journey so far.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you guys, and I really appreciate all this, especially Tyler. I want to start with you. Apparently, one of the main reasons that I made the Instagram page, is because I was following you through my main page, which I'm not sure if you follow, but I was following through that. I was looking at your posts like most of the times, and I loved them. I made some comments here and there, and those posts like literally inspired me. Since I already had some DC collectibles that I wanted to, to show off, and I was just, I had them like showcasing on myself. So I was like, I got to do something about it. And I'm like, wow, look at these guys, like what they're doing. And then I saw what Scott's profile is like similar to yours in a different way, different angles, different work, but similar style. Like as a huge Batman fan, especially BTAS, I'm like, wow. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should try, do something like that, just try, slowly but surely, and try post a few things at a time. And if it works, it works. It doesn't matter, just doing it for myself, because I like recreating these BTAS moments, if you want to call it, or just, doing variations of them to see how they would fit in an actual photography, just like you do, guys. So my main influence, like I said before, it's obviously Tyler. And then,
thank you.
Of course. And then I really feel honorable, guys, that you guys brought me here. So it's a great, pleasure for me to talk about all these things that you need to bring up and anything. So yeah, let's get a move on.
Well, thank you very much for the kind words, George.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Of course.
And that's another reason why we enjoy doing this, because it's fun seeing different people's take on something that we all love. It's fun getting to see you recreate your take on a Batman animated series image. It's like, oh, cool! I never thought of it like that, or I didn't think of it from that angle. So it is a lot of fun seeing different people's take. Now, if you will, we'd love to know maybe growing up, what was your first introduction to superheroes, or what initially caught your eye? Who was your favorite growing up? That sort of thing.
Yeah, of course. Well, Batman is always my all-time favorite superhero, right? It never ceased to stop. It never stopped. It never changed. It was always him. I do like some other things as well. Like, I'm a big Star Wars fan as well.
Nice.
Myself. I love Darth Vader, the Skywalker saga and all this stuff I grew up with as well. But coming from Greece, it's not like everybody, of course, Batman is like everywhere, a global thing. But coming from Greece is not something that you would find in most people being like Batman geeks or DC geeks or even comic geeks in general.
Yeah.
So the basis for that, it was my mom. Because, because she was like coming from my mom, coming from a single mom. She had to raise me. My dad was away at work most of the times. So and then they got separated, and then he had to work, far away most of the time. So I would barely see him anyway. So my mom would literally buy me Batman figures to replace it as like a demand, or like to make me feel like I'm not alone. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom would work at night sometimes, and I would be scared of the dark. And I know it sounds like cheesy and everything, and she would bring like the combat belt Batman, the figure, that's one of my favorites, and she would just bring it to me, like put it on my chest, and say like, "Don't be afraid," try to like make the Kevin Conroy type of voice, and it's like, "Don't be afraid, I'm here for you. Do not forget," like all these nice kind of quotes and everything. So this inspired me, and eventually, I never ceased to love Batman in general. I watched all the movies. My favorite movie is Batman the '89 with Michael Keaton. I'm like a huge fan of that movie. And as you can see, I have him right here.
Oh, hot toy.
No, that's the NECA version. It's
the NECA? Okay.
Yeah, it's very similar.
It looks nice. Shoot.
It is. It's really, you can expand the wings and everything. And the accessorize, which I have in the other room, like pretty cool. The only thing is that the articulation, I mean, it's on point, but you can't like really make these things stand as much as you want. Like, it's kind of loosey at parts, or it's kind of too stiff at other parts, and I hate that.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is scary, and it's heavy too. So you might want to like adjust it properly, otherwise, boom, So yeah, like Batman '89 was one of my fond memories as a child as well. And then Batman the Animated Series came on like around 94 was in Greece. I was probably 5 years old by the time.
Oh, perfect.
And I was collecting all these Scarecrow figures, and I had like my uncle used to build like these doll houses from matches or stuff like that, or like sticks. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. That.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like a craft thing. So I used to put them in there, like I used to pretend like make a scenario and everything. And, I had like all these BTAS. I had like the Lightning Strikes Batman. I don't know if you remember that. It was like a...
With the lightning strikes on it?
Yeah, the white...
And it had the thing cape that wrapped around it?
Yeah, I love that figure.
That was my favorite one too.
That was literally my favorite. That was like my number one. Second favorite was the infrared. I love the infrared Batman.
I never had that one.
Yeah, it was kind of rare even to find there. And then, of course, the combat belt. Then moving on, I started collecting the comics as well. I read most of the... I didn't really read a lot of the New 52 so far. I'm okay with it, but I'm very old school with these things. So, like, I like the...
You can tell by your choice of favorite movie.
Of course. And Batman Returns is my second favorite when it comes to those.
Nice.
I love Nolan's movies as well, but yeah.
Just a different thing.
It's a different thing. Yeah, I don't like. I really love it. I just don't. I can't compare that. So.
Yeah, the atmosphere of those first two movies is just something completely different to I think what we've ever seen, really. And I hope Matt Reeves recaptures that sort of mystical, like moody atmosphere that those films did. I mean, he's filming it in Glasgow, so he has to. I mean, if you're going to go moody and misty, Glasgow's the place. Anyone who lives in the UK will know what I mean.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of Joker, because you say that's your favorite Batman '89, what's your favorite Joker?
When it comes to the movies, or just in general?
In general.
Nicholson.
Okay.
Easy.
That's a solid answer.
Yeah, that's an easy pick for me. Well, I would definitely put Mark Hamill there, but the only case that I don't put it goes by side, like they go side by side with Nicholson basically. So I'm not gonna just separate it. So I would just say these two will go on top, and then I love Heath Ledger, of course. It's just like phenomenal, and Joaquin Phoenix. That's also something else that I was like, wow, when I saw the movie, like it had me in tears. I was like, this movie is phenomenal, Mm-hmm. So, yeah, definitely Nicholson and Mark Hamill, they go together. I put them on top. I love Mark Hamill's, like, how Mark Hamill can, like, transition from, because when I was a kid, I didn't really understand, like, oh, Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker as well. So, until I grew up, and I'm like, I love how he can move his voice. He can transition his voice into different, themes and everything, and I love it. I love that. So I feel like the Joker voice, the Mark Hamill voice, is very special. It's very different and very special, in particular.
Yeah.
So
it definitely is. And sometimes when people put on a voice for a character, they speak in sort of a monotone. But I think Mark Hamill has such a range of different voices for Joker within the same voice that he puts on. It's quite ridiculous the way that he does it. Really, he can really get. He honestly is. I mean, he can really shout in a Joker voice, and he can sort of speak in a really deep, sinister Joker voice. There's so many different tones that he has to it. And I mean, Conroy's the same, to be fair, as Batman.
Agreed.
He kind of speaks in a similar tone, but has so much different range to his voice as well, which is probably why they complement one another so well. And
yeah.
I
love how. I'm sorry. I just want to add, I love how Conroy's voice is basically from baritone, deep, and then he goes even deeper when he becomes Batman. That part's I love that part. I always say.
Now, in terms of toy photography,
yes,
you do have, already. We see a bunch of different things, and you should have some where you looks like you do it in front of a screen, and some you have some more tangible stuff. Dioramas. What is your personal favorite that you find so far?
All right, so this thing is just I'm still kind of conflicted in some ways because I'm not sure if you guys get that, but I get that thing that okay, I'm gonna post one picture. Keep that. I'm gonna take, let's say, 50 shots of one specific stance of the figure in different angles. I'm gonna switch lighting from the angles. I'm gonna try even different color of the lighting and everything, and then edit and then pick up the top 10, for example. From the top 10, I'm gonna isolate the top 5, and then moving on, I decide. The only thing is that I don't really have a lot of equipment yet, so the method that I do these things is kind of like a caveman's method, if you want to call it. You would see me on the floor, get like that, but I use my phone most of the times.
Nice.
So
what kind of phone?
I have an iPhone.
iPhone, okay.
Thank God, my phone has a good resolution and everything. So I use that. I try to stay, to focus, filter the patterns or whatever I want to do, and then if I like it, I move on. If I don't, just gonna say nope, just do something else. I love doing originally this page was supposed to be originally as an idea before I started even doing it. It was supposed to be only Batman stuff only. The thing is that I have too many figures, which I love, and I'm not still sure. This is why I say I'm controversial. I'm not sure if I wanted to stick to only Batman stuff because I love it, because I love dark pictures. I love the mood, you know what I mean? Or should I stick to the more clean, super clean, more colors, more different pictures, like Star Wars, for example, which I love. I love Star Wars. I like the Black Series and all this stuff.
And recently you did a Scooby-Doo picture even.
Well, yeah, I had this for a while. Yeah. I had these small ones. They're smaller, 3-inch or something. So I had these for a while, and I haven't put them in good use. So I was like, why not? I used to be. I'm still a big fan of the old Scooby-Doo series.
Yeah.
Grew up with that. Yeah, I love it. I like the mood of it, and I was always connecting it with, because there's an actual episode with I think it was the new Scooby-Doo Adventures, and then Batman is in the episode. Actually.
Yeah.
You remember that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's how I started connecting those two. So, I like kind of the paintings, the backgrounds they have,
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I love in the BTAS as well. I love the backdrops, the scenery. It's so special, so different than any others,
It's great when they do these mad crossovers, the Turtles crossover they did, the animated film last year. Yeah. That was brilliant as well. And me and Tyler, I know, both love that. And did you enjoy that as well? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I'm still conflicted about it, but I would say as an Oswald, I was gonna be Danny DeVito, flat as well. So other than that, the only Oswald, like I don't remember his actual name. The voice actor is actually the BTAS, the penguin. What's his name? Who does the penguin? I'm not crazy about his voice.
I don't know.
I'm not crazy about his voice.
That right off my head.
Because I'm stuck with Danny DeVito or something like more, you know.
You're
I even
purist.
like the guy. I even like the guy from Gotham. I don't know if you guys watch it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. It can get weird and extreme at points, but if you follow, you may like it at the end. So there's so many spin-offs in that, TV show, like so many different angles and so many different things that they keep changing and revolving. And it was like, wow, this guy, I thought he was dead, and then he comes back, and wow, no, he's not. And then he comes back. It was like stop. So, and then even my girlfriend, because we used to watch together, she's like, why Batman doesn't literally doesn't just kill any somebody, they keep coming back, and they're like, well, that's why we have Red Hood. So, I mean, Red Hood is basically. By the way, he's I would say my second favorite DC character, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Especially from the Batman verse, easily. So I even have a tattoo on my arm. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a post with Red Hood.
Do you have the DC Multiverse figure?
Yes, I do. But probably
okay.
I'll.
You also have a few McFarlane figures, right?
Yeah, I do have the new one, the new.
Now, what do you think? What's the difference? Give me a little bit of pros and cons, since you have a couple of them, and now that we're officially McFarlane, I want to hear what you think.
Of course. Okay, so the Green Lantern McFarlane, I think it's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I like him a lot. Size, quality, the colors, everything is on point. Only thing that I would say. All the McFarlane's, kind of the articulation can get weird. They can get very loosey, especially around the waist area. I mean the upper the thigh. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you guys, but most of mine are loosened up there since I got them, or they're gonna be too stiff on the ankles. So
the one thing I noticed is it kind of feels like a ratchet with the articulation. It kind of feels like it clicks in the different spots.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. I'm not crazy about that because they can be, for someone especially who doesn't know, he can even break it. You know what I mean? He can just go extra. But thank God, you just if you just do it slowly and everything, and you try to rotate it or whatever. Anyway, I would say so far the Batman is my favorite. I mean the comics Batman. I'm not too crazy about the animated version because we have already the DC collectibles for that, and thank God they did an amazing job, and really one of my favorite figures anytime. So any day I'll take it anytime. I don't like his belt because it doesn't. You're gonna say that they don't try to make copy paste, but it's supposed to be an animated series version. So when I first saw that, I was like, So I would say, according to that specific figure, the only thing that I'm not crazy about is basically two things: his belt, because he's more likely he has the belt from the new animated series. Mm-hmm. Okay, he doesn't have
the face.
Yes, so. That's one, and I would say second part is actually his body type. It's actually extremely big on top and heavy, and the legs are extremely thin, and you can barely you can barely make him stand. I don't know, it feels weird because he's constantly bending or whatever. Unless I really put a good use to it and put it on a specific spot, Other than that. I believe the Superman we got is basically one of the best Superman figures I personally ever seen.
Yes, I have to agree.
The emblem is freaking phenomenal.
Yes.
First thing that
I noticed,
wow. It was glittering and everything, shiny, perfect proportions, not too much, not too less, and everything. I like his shoulders. His deltoids are pretty round, and they make sense with the whole the rest of the biceps and everything. His forearms are also on point, and I love his facial structure as well. It's literally the Superman you see on the comics, like the one you knew since forever.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Like
I'm glad you like him.
I 100%, no, 1000% prefer him over the DC Essentials versions and all this. You know?
Yeah.
Which they go for $60 right now or whatever. So, yeah.
Now, you said you live in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Are you seeing a lot of the McFarlane toys out there when you hunt? Have you seen like Hellbat and Batgirl?
Yes. Well.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Okay, hold on. This is like a crazy thing because it can be really tricky. For example, you're really gonna say like, okay, that day I'm gonna just go to two things: Walmart, Target. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hit those specific areas. You take your time. You see which one is closer. Blah blah blah, and you just go for it. But you can get impressed by what you can find, and you can also like freak out by what you cannot find.
Yeah.
For example, it happened for me. Like I can see on the actual page. Oh, this is listed. For example, like Green Lantern. All right, the McFarlane edition, and you go there and it's not there. And you ask him like, oh yeah, it got sold out like like yesterday or whatever. So I'm like, oh, why it's not on the page? Like, oh, we haven't updated. I was like, oh. So then you go all the way around, and then you try to find it again. You go to the next store, and to the next store, and to the next store. And then you're going to immediately go, oh, okay, I found it. And then immediately as you find it, you actually find one more thing, which happened to me, which I always wanted. Like,
Well, what was it that you found?
The Red Ranger, the Light Inverter collection.
Oh, yeah, that's a good-looking figure.
It's a good figure. But the thing is, like, whatever I've seen it so far, it had mistakes. On the face, they were like the paint was off, there was scratches. So I was like, yes, damn it, I found it. So I'm like, okay, I found the clean one. So I just grabbed it, I grabbed the other one, and that's it. The latest one that I had was the Batman, the McFarlane, which I'm telling you, man, like as soon as I opened the box, I was like, this figure is gorgeous. In all sorts of manners, like beautiful figure. I love the cape. I love his stance. I love everything. The colors, It's more like a serious approach to the comics version. I would say could be Hush-like, but it's not Hush. But it is kind of. It reminds me of kind of Hush-like.
Mm-hmm. It definitely.
I love. Yeah.
Scott, anything?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the McFarlane stuff. Are you going to pick up the animated Superman, because he is a very, very good-looking figure, and I was watching a few reviews on it lately, and I just love the shape of that figure. And I get the problems with the legs and stuff like that, but I mean, I think it's good that they're going for a more accurate style while trying to add articulation rather than bulking it up just to make it sort of work, if that makes sense. They're trying to stay a little bit more true to that Bruce Timm style.
And recently, he said that they're going to be making a lot more animated figures that haven't been made yet. So that's going to be interesting.
That's good, yeah. Because it's a whole line of figures within that multiverse, isn't it? So you got the armored line, animated line, comic book line, and there's
what you get
as well.
Anyone who's listening, if you are having trouble finding those figures like the Batgirl and Nightwing and all that, they're supposed to be dropping at GameStop tomorrow. So in America,
nice. I imagine you'll be checking that out straight away.
I'll be there at 9:59. I'll be there, ready.
Nice.
Hopefully, because I haven't found the Hellbat or Batgirl anywhere, and those are the two I really would like. Other than that, I'm waiting to see what the animated series figures they make. Hopefully, some Clock King, Daggett, something new.
Yeah, definitely. I so hope they make a whole different range of figures as well, and not just BTS. I want them to do some Lex Luthor figures and
Cheetah,
Batman Beyond figures. Like, go think big with him. And McFarlane's always that. Every interview I've heard him in, he's saying he wants to think big and be bold with everything. So I hope he puts his money where his mouth is and makes all these different characters and some new characters.
And I hope he makes a Spawn.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's made a massive Hellbat figure, which is amazing, and kept it the same price, as every other figure. I think that's massively encouraging.
Yes.
Because if that was DC Collectibles, they'll knock another $20 onto it or something. Because DC Collectibles are an absolute joke.
And it would break
they
on
always,
you the
They
first
always
day.
do it. Yeah, absolutely. With DC Collectibles, they're QC. In fact, they don't have QC.
No.
They don't have it. Jim Fletcher is an absolute lunatic as well. Really don't like Jim Fletcher at all. It's so bad.
So we're not sponsored by DC Collectibles, if anyone was
well, not anymore anyway.
That would be great.
We're just called Figures and Collectibles now.
That's staying in too. So we don't edit.
No, we don't edit. No, unlike Jim Fletcher, who edits 90% of the stuff he claims he's going to make.
Oh, I bet. Or I saw people actually asking him a bunch about the wrestling line too, so that was funny. So, George, do you have any Mezco figures?
No, not yet.
No.
I want to get the first appearance Batman style.
Okay. Oh yeah, the Ascending Knight. Which color?
What's that?
Which color would you go for out of them?
I would just get the gray basically.
Yeah.
And then I would just try to do more vintage type classic black and white shots with that. And then
that would be nice.
And I was thinking getting a gray ghost because I want to get a gray ghost, but I'm trying to find a decent price. But yeah, it's kind of tough these days. I believe the DC collectibles, they're very, strict on the price. And I'm not sure if the supply and demand are high or low, but I feel like the demand is high for sure.
Yes.
Because everything is sold out, and only Amazon you can find things, a few things, and they're very expensive. A figure that used to cost maximum $30, now it goes for $200 sometimes. Example,
the Joker expression pack. That's $500 easy.
I know.
Yeah.
Especially the Rogues gallery, the one that you have, and I'm jealous. And I told you today about the Montoya because we need a one. Since we got the Killer Croc and the new wave, everybody individually, we should get the Montoya figure as well.
Well, especially because she's coming out in a movie. Why not have her first actual creation is from the show? Why not make a figure?
Of course. And
another thing I'm wondering about McFarlane is with Birds of Prey, you thought they were going to be on top of everything. You think they'd have figures out already with the movie only a week away.
True.
What's going on? I don't want them to slip into Mattel.
Unless they're doing it for licensing reasons, perhaps, and they don't want to get the movie out first. God knows what's going on.
Or they don't want to do any spoilers in case there's spoilers.
Yeah, maybe I feel that's okay.
That GCPD Rose Pack, by the way, I'm looking at one here, all in about $800. That's crazy.
Yeah, and George, what do you think about the fact? What do you think about the fact that even if you did get the Mr. Freeze figure, they don't include the Nora Snow Globe? Isn't that kind of whack?
That was very weird. That was why? Yeah. And then there's one is that basically, and then there's no ice effect accessory, which I would love. Because that's kind of tough to recreate if you want to, with edits and everything. It's not gonna look the same, you know what I mean? So I was looking forward because, I was looking forward to that. And then the one other thing that actually bothers me is that it's the, the glass comes off pretty easy. I'm not I don't know about yours, but it comes all the time by itself. So yeah. Other than
that, does yours stay on, Scott?
Yeah, just about.
I mean, if you don't move it.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It really is, man. It's just an absolute freaking nightmare sometimes, though. I mean, we were on about it before, and the QC and stuff like that is just so bad sometimes. It really is absolutely shocking.
So I would like to tell you, I'm trying to get some dioramas coming the next month. Obviously, I want the NECA one, the one that everybody has most of the times, the street scenery. Yes. It's a basic, and it's basically an essential element if you want to do especially Batman scenery or recreations or that. Definitely, you need that. So I'm definitely gonna get that at one point. Extreme Sets, they make some good things as well. I'm not sure if you know.
Brilliant.
So they're big too, like the size and the
humongous.
So you can do, you can figure your way around with those things. So probably I get an extreme sets. Anytime.
But you've also created your own stuff, right? You made like a BTS background that looks pretty great, I think.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That was like the first week. I think the first week I made the page, and I was like, I gotta do something because I just don't want to I don't like really using screens for backdrops and white screens because it takes more time. You don't want it to be pixelated. You don't want like the light to be seen or there are reflections or anything. So I feel for me it's different. It's more like a harder process to do. So I was like, I'm gonna do a wall, at least of a simple Gotham. So I took some crafting paper, colored crafting paper from what was it, like Kohl's or So I got it from Kohl's, and then I was like, I'm just gonna start and trying to figure out, do some patterns and everything. And then I cut it all the way through. I had some image from the series, kind of like how I wanted to be, and then I glued it and everything, and I cut around it, and there you go. It's just simple stuff, And
it looks good.
I might do more because I want to do like a poison ivy because I'm preparing a poison ivy special at one point, like for Valentine's Day, I would say. So I got it. I still have it sealed, as you can see.
Fresh in the plastic.
Yes, the smell, everything is contained. So I love how they include the vase and everything.
Thank goodness.
And actually, I think I like her more. I like this outfit more than the older ones, by the way.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, what do you think of the repaint job? They were sort of bigged up to be different in every way. What do you think of them?
On this specific one?
In general, of the line, what do you think of like all four of them?
I feel they improved a lot, especially Catwoman. The first version, the first edition was just
with the pegs.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they were 100%
awesome. Was very obvious and everything. And I don't like those things, and it was like you can't do much. It just looks ugly to me.
Yeah.
So other than that, I feel they're doing pretty great. I'm looking forward to see more stuff. I want to see like a Clock King as well, like you said, and also
it is such a shame that I don't think they're going to do anything with it now. They'll just re-release all the old characters again and put two white bits of shading and re-release Robin with the same horrible smile.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it's stupid, isn't it?
So I'm like, they could do more than that. But we still don't know what's coming up. I mean, the Joker expression, a new Joker continued. Something comes up. I think September. What was it? August? I'm not sure. So they're making a new Joker, but he's just one expression and everything. I'm not sure why. So the DC Collective is gonna have 3 different Jokers, maybe 4. Because you got the basic one, you got the Mad Love version, you got the
Christmas.
5, and the Christmas Joker, which I want.
New Batman Adventure.
And the new not 6. So
I get the Joker and the Batman a little bit because I think they've made visible improvements, but the Harley and Robin are just so pointless. I don't understand it, especially if they're not going to improve with different head sculpts and things like that. I don't really quite understand what they're trying to do with that. But I mean, I think in terms of new characters, it's going to be contractually impossible for them to do it because McFarlane have got the license now. So I think that's pretty much it for DC Collectibles, unless that's obviously why.
Any word on the Adventure Continues figures?
No, I mean nothing new yet. Yeah.
Now you have the new Bat Pod. What do you think of that figure?
Which one?
The Bat Pod, the Bat Cycle, Batman and the motorcycle.
I freaking love it. I got it literally the same month it came out, and I got it from New York City, which is straight from the center. So go on with that. I got it for $43 when it first came out. Its price is still decent. which actually amazes me. Like how come it's been a few months, so how come it went like up to 70 or something? But yeah, I feel like the only thing that I'm not gonna say I don't like, but I would rather have it like taken off was the helmet. Like I would love if the helmet was like in and out as a detail. That
would be pretty cool.
So you can like take shots like while he's like grabbing the helmet and everything. It doesn't matter if he has like a Bruce Wayne like cowl underneath, which it's not gonna be the case. We know that, but I mean, a Bruce Wayne like his actual face instead of the cowl. But anyway, yeah, that would be a great idea. But as a figure in general, I like the lights of it. This is my first shot that I took today. I took this. I made this theme about like 2 weeks ago. I took it outside. I was trying to find the right angle and everything because I wanted like show some darkness and some light from the bicycle as well.
This one?
This one.
Yeah, I really like the shadows.
I mean, it's a good point actually about the helmet and see not too many companies making like a cowl that's sort of unworn. So like you see it with the Mattel DC Universe Ultra figures that I know me and Tyler have got the Batman Beyond. That's a great figure because the cowl accessory with it, and you got the Mafex Nightmare figure that's got an empty cowl. I think it would have been cool in Expressions pack if they just had like a Mask of the Phantasm type cowl where he's holding it.
Oh, definitely.
That'd have been brilliant, especially considering they put Bruce Wayne head in there. But DC Collectibles didn't.
I agree.
Didn't do that. But yeah, it's a shame. Hopefully they get back in their stride again soon with some new stuff.
You know what?
But it's okay because in the meantime we can buy these. Look at them; they're brilliant, aren't they?
Oh,
$40. $40 for $40 for one of those. If you want to waste your money, I'd personally
Funko Pop knockoffs.
I'd rather eat the money than pay for those.
Yeah, I'd rather buy a steak than just let those like dust. Okay,
they have the nerve to call them figures as well. Terrible.
I want to add one thing. You probably guys already thought about it. I would love to see a Batboat from DC Collectibles.
Yes, that's a good shout. Yeah,
like I would love to see. Personally, I love the Batboat, and it appears a bunch of times, not too often, but yeah, I think they should have done that. If they if they want, it's gonna be a shame. I feel like because I feel like I had like many people asking for that because I'm also in a Facebook group and everybody complains about we need more things, blah blah blah, and a lot of people like mention the Batboat because it's kind of underrated. So
yeah, it is good. And the Batman Beyond mobile as well. That would have been brilliant to see that made.
Yes,
that would have been amazing. Imagine how cool that would look lit up.
All red.
Yeah, it'd look amazing.
Now, speaking of Batman the Animated Series, we'd love to ask you what your top 3 favorite episodes are. If you could name them off the top of your head.
Sure. Vendetta, number 1.
With Croc. Nice.
Croc. Yeah, fantastic.
I don't think anyone's picked that one yet. So that's
you know why? Because there are a few differences in the coloring and sketching right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, like there are some parts that the frames and the coloring, it's kind of slightly different from everything else. It's like the Heart of Ice style episode, but I feel kind of like that. It's different than everything else at parts. So I would say Vendetta. I like the theme.
It's also funny that you picked that after you say you want a Batboat because that features prominently in the episode.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he uses that to go into, and then he exits and swims into Croc's lair where those guys are hidden.
Oh, you mean? Yeah, I remember that. But you can only see it like for 3 seconds, probably, or 4 seconds.
It's there.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But we do need a Batboat. We definitely do need the Batboat. But I would say one is that probably second favorite. I would put Christmas with the Joker. It's one of these episodes that I grew up. I had it as a VHS. I would like literally watch it over and over and over and over again. Like I really remember, lines from the, So third one, I would say I'm debating because I would say it keeps changing because it used to be POV.
Okay.
And then I changed it with Joker's Favor at one point.
That's
it's a good episode. That is.
Can't go around it either.
I love the music in Joker's Favor. It's just funny.
I know. So it's basically, I would say the Laughing Fish or the Joker's Favor.
Okay.
Either. I would say either. Well. Yeah. I liked the Laughing Fish. It was like pretty intense. Especially when he gave him I don't. What was his name? The guy in the office, and he gave him a specific time till midnight.
Oh yeah, Carl Francis. We were talking about him in the pre-show, funnily enough, weren't we? Carl Francis.
Yeah, Mr. Francis.
Exactly. I love that.
Mr. Francis. Yeah, we were talking about him in the pre-show. That's really weird.
And then they actually advertising like the Joker products and the fish and everything, and I'm like, what we gonna eat for dinner or whatever. So yeah, stuff like that.
The jingle.
Yeah. So I would pick
those are solid picks. And hopefully you're a gamer too.
Oh yeah, I am big.
Oh, I happen to know that you are a gamer, definitely. So the Arkhamverse, and this is something I definitely want to talk about. Been played through the games recently, and I know you're a big fan of them as well. So what are you going to rank the Arkham games at? So what's your favourite and then least favourite of that series?
Arkham series number one. It will always, for many reasons. Many reasons. I would say number one reason is because it was the shock that I got.
Yes.
I finished Arkham Asylum. I was like, wow. Then I heard like Arkham City is coming up. Next thing I know, it was already out. And everybody's like, did you play Arkham City? I was like, no. What? Just go get it. And so I just went out. I got it. And then immediately the first day, I was literally halfway through. That's how obsessed I was with the game. So I love how they included all the DLC, the animated series. I freaking love that part. And they had like the Robin as well was animated series and everything, and Catwoman and everything. So everybody else, they had like multiple skins, like the multiverse skins and everything.
Yeah.
And so I would put that first. Second, I would say Arkham Knight, because Red Hood.
Yeah, he was brilliant in that.
The only part for Arkham Knight is the Batmobile missions. They can get a little too much at one point, because it makes you basically, it forces you. I feel like it forces you, like you have to take the Batmobile, do this and that. And sometimes, I like to trophy hunt, like hunt down, like get some trophies. And I feel like sometimes it's just wasting your time with the Batmobile. So other than that, I love the plot. It's moody, it's dark. You got Arkham Knight, which is Red Hood. No spoilers, it's an old game.
Yeah, it's an old game now.
So I would say the third one, Arkham Asylum, because it's original. Arkham Origins, I put it last because I didn't really... I wasn't really fascinated by the change of some dynamics in the game when it first came out. I played it second time. I was like, I didn't even finish it again. Like the second time, the whole thing. I like Deathstroke a lot, and the conversations and the dialogue between them, but nothing much. Nothing much likewise. Like
it's kind of just too short, right?
It is too short.
Just leaves you wanting more.
Yes, exactly. I got that vibe too, because I wanted to see, where is it taking me? Like I wanted to see like where is it gonna end and everything.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I wasn't like, like wow, like I was with everything else. So.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah. I like the way that they use the Joker, but they sort of backed themselves into a corner a little bit, given they couldn't really go anywhere big with the Joker because he had to survive. And he had to be in place for Arkham Asylum. So it was kind of difficult. But, I mean, the Bane fights were great. They were fantastic. And I do think it had the best DLC as well, though, with the Cold Heart. I think that is the best Batman DLC. that you can get out there for the Arkham games. I think it's amazing, and that boss fight's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. And it has some hard challenges too.
Yeah, I think that the Deathstroke fight was tough, wasn't it? The Copperhead fight's quite tough as well. I find that quite difficult for some reason. And
I always got a note with Firefly. Just did not like him.
The Firefly boss fight was tough as well, wasn't it, on the bridge? But I mean, that was amazing. That fight on the bridge was just so good. I think Origins probably generally had the best boss fights throughout the series, which is quite good. But that Deathstroke one was definitely up there. I think that's probably why the Arkham Knight Batmobile stuff is a little bit disappointing, because how good that Deathstroke boss fight was. Then in Arkham Knight, you just fight him in a tank, which is a shame. So yeah, I mean, we were talking about this previously. I genuinely think they both get out of their tanks and want a fist fight in the street, because it's the only thing that they know how to do, Deathstroke and Batman.
Not on that universe. Do you, George, have a bunch of Arkham collectible toys, or no? Do you have any figures from that one?
No, I don't have any Arkham toys. I mean, I used to have one, but I didn't bring it yet. I probably left in Greece. I have the Arkham Asylum version as a statue, but not an action figure, just a statue, yeah. But not.
Well, hopefully McFarlane makes those rumored ones.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because after seeing Scott's pictures, I really want to get them, but I don't want to pay those crazy scalp prices.
Yeah, really looking forward to those massively.
I feel they're good with their prices though, because I used to be a huge Spawn collector back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had like medieval Spawn, like Dark Ages, basically, Hellspawn, Redeemer. I don't know if you know, like all these things.
I know what you're talking about.
Different variations, and Al Simmons different variations as well.
Unmasked, the bloody head.
Yes, I had like all the McFarlane. Like there was a toy line of 2004, I think, 3. I think it was 2003. But that was when the Movie Maniacs, like, they were going crazy with those Movie Maniacs things from McFarlane and everything. I think so. I used to collect them a lot, and I love their work. Like, I really like their work in the action figures. I feel they were, very competitive back then, and they're still competitive on it. And then they're doing a very nice like sculpting and everything, and the coloring. And especially for the price that they put them in the market, it's actually really satisfying.
And at least they give us accessories, unlike DC Collectible.
Yes. Certainly.
Yeah, true.
Certainly. DC
now,
Collectible. Excuse me?
You finish your thought?
I would say, like, DC Collectibles, the only problem, I would say the major problem, personally, I have is basically the pricing. They go overpriced all the time with everything.
Yeah.
Like,
especially statues.
Oh my God. It's unbelievable. Like, I wanted to get the Superboy, right? The 90s Superboy. So I was looking at it, and the next thing I know, it was like $30. And the next thing I know, now it's like around 100 or something on Amazon. So I'm like, what happened? I'm like, wow. So they're going crazy with the prices. Unless you're lucky enough to find it like in a comic store, like a local area, then that would be nice. Because if they have it like in a good price or everything, that would be.
Yes.
But it's kind of like,
besides being overpriced, they don't give you anything to even feel like you're getting what you paid for, because it's literally just a figure in a box. There's no hands, no accessories.
I know.
So as beautiful as they are, as great as the sculpt they are, they suck at the moving, at being an action figure, and they have no accessories. So
the Catwoman that you got, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, like, appealing wise, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But the whip
no
thing,
whip, no extra hand even.
Yeah. I'm like, that shouldn't be the case. Definitely not.
No.
So, yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
No. Well, any last words before we wrap up, Scott?
A massive thanks for coming on. Definitely love what you're doing with photography. It's how I started, using an iPhone, just keep things dead simple and just develop your game. So I think it's definitely best way to go about it. Really is. And only recently I've moved to a proper camera. You see people like these massive sets of equipment and cameras that are just starting up, and they don't really know how to use them, for want of a way of putting it. I know it sounds patronising, so it's definitely the best way to go, starting with a phone and building up. It's most fun way of doing it as well, because you just keep it simple and enjoy it. But yeah, like I say, love what you're doing so far, and look forward to seeing more of it. And big thanks for coming on as well. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, and I have to say too, I really like what you said earlier about when you first started. Just, you know what? Who cares if it's not perfect, and who cares if some people might not like it? You're just going to do it. And the fact is, you're actually really talented starting off the bat. And it's also fun to see someone start off fresh and brand new, and see how they continue to get better each shot. And that's I think the thing that you're doing. You're continuing to get better each shot, which is always fun to watch. It's also cool to see from anyone that's listening out there that's debating whether or not they want to do it. Like, check out what George is doing. He's just started, but he's doing some crazy cool work. So I want to thank you again for taking time out of the day, especially on Super Bowl Sunday. You could be watching the Super Bowl, but you're hanging out with us. So I really appreciate that, George. Thank you.
Of course.
And again, if you guys are not following him, he's at Toy Geek 88. I'll show you real quick. Toy Geek 88. All right. So any last words, George?
Yeah, I really appreciate everything, guys, again. And then I love our conversation. If you want, anytime you can invite me again. We can talk about anything. I just want to ask you one thing, basically. For example, like, how do you? I know you have some dioramas, right? Specific dioramas for your photo shooting. I just want to know, like, do you do the method with the card, like the crafting paper as well? Have you tried it as well? Because I think
what I do is I go to a dollar store and I find black foam board, and that's what I use for the buildings because it's a little bit more sturdy. Okay. Then I use like yellow construction paper when I did the windows, and I would make those the windows. But mostly I would do, and I still use for a lot of shots, black foam board. So like it's just a little bit sturdier.
For the flooring, that's for the floor.
For the flooring and for the buildings, actually.
All right. Yeah, I like some tips, like sometimes, because I'm like still looking everything. And then I still admire your work, and I always like, look at the details you guys do, both of you. So, yeah.
That's why we know you're going to be good, because you look at those details. And that's what it takes to have a lot of cool details. And of course. I also like that even though you say, and like you said, you have mostly a love for Batman, you're not afraid to show other stuff. Like the Scooby-Doo picture is cool. I like that you get to show different sides. And I mean, Scott's even done a few Marvel picks, even though he hates Marvel. So.
I'm with him on that.
All right. Well, we want to again thank George. And if you are not following him, he is at Toy Geek 88. And it's go follow him. It's very cool to see him starting off his journey, and it'll be fun to see him continue to get better till he's top tier. So thank you again for listening. This has been DC Figures and Collectibles, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you.